With a legend addressing rumors of being threatened with losing their job and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Previewing the match at WrestleMania 39 between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins told Sports Guys Talk Wrestling, "I don't know the answer to that question, man, if Cody Rhodes is the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. It's very hard for me to look at that match unbiased, I think. I want that match, I want that spot, I want that title, and to not have it, there's a lot of salt in the wound having to talk about it, so it's difficult for me to analyze. I will say you're looking at a rock and a hard place, you know? You've got Roman Reigns, who's on an incredible run, but you've got Cody Rhodes, who's riding a lot of momentum. It's going to be a generational main event of WrestleMania. Again, hard for me to feel any way but slighted by it, so that is what it is." On the Pat McAfee show, Seth Rollins gave insight on the locker room of WWE, saying, "From the outside, you think it's a cutthroat business, and to an extent, it is in some capacity, because everybody wants that top spot and everybody wants to grow as a performer, and you know, the higher up you are on the card, the more money you're going to earn, and that's the bottom line. But I can totally understand where you're coming from when you come in. There's still a level of respect. It's like when it's Sunday, and it's game time, and you're out there to kill somebody, right? You're out there to take somebody out. But as soon as it's not that time anymore, as soon as the game's over or, you know, the play is over, you help the brother up off the field, and that's where we are. Yeah, everybody wants that top spot, everybody wants to be positioned better than everybody else, but at the end of the day, there is a level of respect for everybody that plays the game, and so there is a brotherhood, there is a fraternity to that." During an appearance on Busted Open Radio, Jayne talked about turning on Jayne Dolin on NXT last week, where she touched on comparisons to the Rockers breakup from the early 90s. I actually didn't really know much going into that day. They were kind of very hush-hush about everything happening. All I really knew was that was going to be on Ding Dong Hello. So that's a lot of pressure having Bayley come back. It was the first time she even had that show in like 2 years. It was also the first time it was ever in front of a live audience, because that was always done during the pandemic era. So I feel like there was a lot of pressure going into that alone. Then kind of getting Sean's blessing to redo some history there. That was a big deal for me. I didn't want to mess it up. I didn't want to screw it up. I wanted to make a memory. I think everybody knew Toxic Attraction was going to explode soon, but to make it memorable, we had to go big. So we wanted it to be vicious. We wanted it to be memorable. We wanted people to talk about it, not just something like, "Oh, that was a good segment. Yeah, whatever. Now they're by themselves." Like, no. We want people to remember this and be like, "Oh, this is a new coming for 2 new superstars on a solo route." Recalling Mike Tyson's involvement in WWE during the Attitude Era, Jim Ross revealed on his Grilling JR podcast, "The bottom line is we never considered Mike to wrestle. You're not going to put an untrained brute in the ring with a guy that you're counting on to lead the company who has a bad neck. You're not going to do it. It's a risk-reward scenario that's out of proportion. Mike was never considered, at least to my knowledge." Speaking of upcoming matches at WrestleMania, Kurt Angle touched on the potential bout between John Cena and Austin Theory, as he said, "I know John Cena is trying to get back at it, and Austin Theory would be a great match for him. He'd be great competition. He'd be a great test for John Cena, considering he's an in-ring general." When it comes to an appearance at WrestleMania 39 for Kurt Angle, the man himself said on his podcast, "Right now, my flight plans leave Sunday morning. I'll watch the first half of WrestleMania. I might stay and extend my flight to the next day, but I want to watch Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes because I believe he's going to win the title. I'm doing an appearance for WrestleCon. I believe I'm going to do some stuff for WWE as well. I plan on going to WrestleMania for one day. I'm really excited about it. This is the first WrestleMania I've gone to in a while." On the Out of Character podcast, Liv Morgan talked about feeling like she was going to be released from WWE years ago, saying, "I remember there being points in NXT where I was like, I'm getting fired, I'm gonna lose my job tomorrow," and really believing that and crying myself to sleep because I thought when I showed up to work the next day, I was gonna be fired. And so I feel like in that moment in time, this was so long ago. This is like 6 years ago. I had so many regrets, even though nothing had happened yet, but I was like, I wish I'd worked harder. I wish I utilized this more. I wish I wasn't scared. Belt maker Dave Millican recently spoke on Talk Is Jericho, where he gave details regarding the creation of the AEW World Title. I don't remember the exact number, but you 5 figures into it. You're $10,000 plus into it because of all the layers and all the stones that were set and the custom artwork and the rust job and the whole bit. It's a 5-figure championship belt. I made a deal with AEW to where they own the designs to what we did for them. Again, this is not a bad relationship. This is not something where I'm in touch with them literally today on a business deal. So people look at it and say, oh, they don't want to use them anymore. It's just internet crap. It's business. And so we do business, you know? And sometimes things make sense and sometimes they don't. And when they don't, you shrug it off and you shake hands and you go back and you wait for the next deal to come along. And that's just what it is. So, you know, it's the licensing thing. Correct, I own the trademark for the imaging. And you can go buy a bootleg of most of them on eBay for, I don't know, $200, $300, whatever. But you can also go down, you can go to Cancun and probably get a fake Rolex real quick. You can do that, but what you can't do is replace our history, and I say ours, not just mine. It's not just my history, I'm only part of it. With wrestling news, Dudley spoke about his recent departure from WWE, saying this about rumors of him being threatened with losing his job over doing an autograph signing. Let me just say this, no issues with Triple H. Triple H did not threaten to fire me. What a lot of people don't know is I did not speak to Hunter directly during that. But no, he did not threaten to fire me. It was just, again, you know, miscommunication on the dirt sheet writers or whatever. But that was not the case. Again, I can't really go into detail right now. You have shirts out there that say I'm a Paul Heyman guy. I'm a Paul Heyman guy because he helped me with ECW, but I'm only a Triple H guy. I can't begin to thank that man enough for everything that he's done for me. He was the reason why I became a producer. When Bubba and I left in 2016 as talent, it was, from my understanding, it was him that actually suggested for me to become a producer. I remember the night we said farewell to the Dudleys. He pulled me aside and asked me if I would like the job. I told him I'm not ready to hang it up yet. There's still a lot left in the tank for me. I would still love to wrestle and maybe help out some of the younger talent, you know, like Apollo Crews, you know, things like that. But, you know, unfortunately, Vince wanted both parties, and there was nothing he could do at that point. So that's why he offered me the job. I said, well, do I have a choice? He goes, no, not really, Devon. I said, well, I'll take a producer's job because I still wanted to be a part of the company. I really enjoy it. It was my childhood dream of mine to work for WWE. I was told that I could not do the autograph signing for certain reasons. When it was explained to me why, I said, okay, I get it. I mean, was I upset? Yes. Because I just thought it could have been done a little earlier than when I was told, because that way people would not have expected me to not be there. But it is what it is. It happens. It's water under the well now, and you move on from it. But you know, to me, my thing was, and it always had been, that if I'm not doing anything with the company, then, you know, I wanted to be able to go out there and kind of freelance a little bit. But you can't do that when you work for an organization. So I get it and understand it. But it's just something that, you know, I felt that I just wanted to do. So was that one of the reasons why I left? No. But again, it was just to, you know, to agree to disagree. Devon would also note that he is willing to return to WWE. I told Paul Levesque, if you ever need me to come back to NXT, I'm there and I'll be there for you. My door is always open to Paul. I'm not saying that it's not open to Vince, but I have a stronger relationship, I feel, with Triple H. There's nothing bad about that. I don't have an issue with Vince. I talked to Hunter a little bit more than I did with Vince, and I think Paul understood me and understood me very well. I even wrote him in a text message telling him thank you for everything, because I really admired him for where he came from in terms of in the business and the position that he's in right now. And my loyalty lies with Paul. So if Paul wanted me to come back and do NXT, then I would come back. But right now, I just want to enjoy myself and be with my family. With Jay White coming up short in a loser leaves Japan match, it seems the NJPW star could be making his way to the US, as it was reported that word is that Switchblade Jay White is looking to make a move back over to the States, but nothing is set in stone yet, even though he lost a loser leaves Japan match at this weekend's NJPW show. Fightful Select reported in January that White's contract was set to be up soon, and numerous companies had interest in the former IWGP Heavyweight Champion. WWE felt confident that they could land him, but we're told that hardly guaranteed at this point. Despite online speculation that White would pop up in the Royal Rumble, we're told that was never in the discussions, as White's New Japan Pro Wrestling deal wasn't up. We're told the talent in New Japan Pro Wrestling are of the belief his contract with the company is up sometime between NJPW Battle in the Valley and WrestleMania, with details being few and far between. WWE sources have repeatedly confirmed that they have long had interest in Jay White, but that everything related to the possibility of him coming into the company is being kept very quiet. When we asked around NJPW, we were told obviously we'd love to keep him, and we're told that he'd made positive relationships in Impact and AEW as well. White is scheduled to compete at NJPW Battle in the Valley on February 18th. Taking to Twitter to voice his frustration over not being used on programming, AEW star Lance Archer wrote, 51 days since I laced up my boots last, not by choice. Touching on a previous report regarding the WWE Undisputed Universal Champion, Ringside News noted, a report is out saying WWE has plans for Roman Reigns to main event the next Saudi Arabia pay-per-view in May. We can confirm that WWE has zero plans in place for May. At this point, there has been no creative discussion or talks with Saudi about who will headline. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.